Okay, this is kind of a follow-up on last week. I'm going to show you when I talk about the disco format. This is what I mean. This is my visual campaign playbook, what I'm using right now, and what I'm attempting to, and will hopefully in the next few days, fully automate.
Warriors, you know who you are. This episode's powered by the Disco Stack, simple Agentics signature system for building fast, launching smart, and never guessing again. It's not just a stack, baby. It's a rhythm. From idea to income, we help Gen X creators drop content like it's 1979. But built, baby, for 2025. This ain't just work. It's disco. Simple Agentics.
Fully automate. And that is this system. And I call it the Disco Stack. And we're going to go through it. And in the spirit of transparency, I was always told when doing internet businesses to put your best stuff out there, be honest about what you're doing. People will appreciate it and they will come and join your channel and your community. I'm hoping that is the case. Also leaning on the book by Napoleon Hill that tells us if you help 10 people get what they want in life, at least one of them will turn around and help you get what you want, which is in this case to help Generation X recognize the threat that we are facing from AI and do something about it. This stuff gets terribly complicated. And if you think you're just going to jump in the river and start swimming with all the YouTubers, you're never going to know the truth of it. And the truth of it is this is difficult. There is so much organization that goes into this. I have a PhD in organizational psychology, and this stuff is driving me literally crazy because there's so much you can do with it, and it becomes complicated not because it's technical, but simply because there's so many directions you can go. So I've spent, since I began Simple Agentics back in January, when it started as Third Life Mentorship, it's still my goal to build a community of people who want to jump in and get serious about using AI to create new careers, new businesses, or a way of retirement, especially at the time of this recording when we're looking at a whole lot of mess going on in society. And we won't get political. Let's just move forward. Now, this particular video doesn't have a face. It's not fancy because I want to get down to business. This is about making the money, making the statement, doing whatever it is you want to do with AI through social media and through a visual format. This is going to be a document that is updated. Right now, it is outside of the community, but once the community hits 100, all of these documents will be inside the community and you will not be able to access them unless you are a community member. And there will be several other documents. There's several other stacks and pieces to it. This is the one that I am using basically as my first automation. This is going to be part of a much bigger campaign. And the really cool thing about it is as I get things like this codified, all I have to do is simply change either the audience I'm talking to or the particular niche I'm talking about, or change both. So this will, in essence, be a visual campaign laser that I'll be able to focus on anything. And it will be ongoing and being built as new stacks are created and new tools are created. So this is what I want to do with us, Generation X. Let's get out there and show them how it's done. So join Simple Agentics and do not forget that the first 100 are free for life. All right, I know all of you TikTok thumbers are gone already, so let's get down to the people who are here for the money. This is the Simple Agentics Disco Format Visual Campaign Playbook. The Disco framework powers all of my campaigns right now. It's how I build authority, generate leads, and move Gen X audiences from curiosity to community. Keep in mind, I have built this term, Generation X audiences, on an archetype, an avatar that I am constantly updating. And if you look at my previous videos, you'll know how I'm doing that. And I would dare say that the research that I get for free is way better than anything you could pay money for. And anyway, getting back to this, each format serves a different function in the context ecosystem and has a specific place in the funnel. The playbook is used for internal execution and live walkthroughs. So I've got this geared to where I can come in and sit down and spit out a topic, and it'll immediately have me up and running within short format, 2 hours. The goal is that by the end of a day, I can put out 2 to 3 separate disco formats for the next week, and getting ever closer to that 4-hour work week. All right, here are the disco formats. 1, disco full format. These are usually 8 to 10 minutes long form series. They're a 5-series format designed to go out for doom scrollers and hopefully bring you guys in so that you can sit down and really, chew on the long form and learn how to do this, because it will make you money. All right, the purpose is for a flagship campaign to build authority. That's why I'm leaning on the disco formats more now than I will later. New formats will continue things, and there will be entertainment formats and specifically design formats. And we'll talk about that later. All right, the call to action is going to be a lead magnet, and I will tell it to use an existing lead magnet, or I have a different type of format where it establishes a new lead magnet and connects that in. And of course, an invitation to the Simple Agentics community. This is used for weekly campaigns, major ideas, or to anchor funnels. If I see a funnel is not doing well, I'll keep pumping disco formats at it until it does. At least this is the strategy that I'm employing now and will continue to employ. And we'll see. It's all about testing in the numbers. Okay, disco LITE is when I see something, oh, that's really cool, an announcement, and I'll throw it out there. And it's used for trends, supporting ideas, content flywheel. When I want to pump juice to something, I'll do a disco LITE. Or this works really, really well with TubeBuddy, because TubeBuddy will say, hey, your video this performed really well, you should do a follow-up. Disco LITE and point it back at the original video. All right, disco the hip hop. This is my one that I'm working on automation with Gemini, mostly with this one. And what I'm doing is this is interactive, where it does a full disco up here, but then it creates a lead magnet automatically and then presents the whole package ready for production. Pretty cool. And you're going to see that when at work. In fact, if this is working out, you're seeing it in production right now. I am using the disco hip hop for this content piece right now. All right, Disco Pod, 15 to 45 minutes, goes out on YouTube, Substack, or Spotify. It is the podcast, deep dive, thought leadership, podcast anchor, simple talking head, or live stream replay. So it might be voice, it might be talking head, it can be a couple of avatars, and the call to action is to get you to comment, subscribe, and maybe get a bonus. And used for thought leadership, long form build up to something greater that's happening, like a launch. All right, Disco Mosaic. You wouldn't be interested in that. Okay, newsjacking. This one is the most powerful and the one that I'm working on probably the most feverishly, because there's so much news going on. The ability to reach out, grab not just the topic, but what people are saying about it in places like Reddit and other places, combining it and throwing it out there in short form, like a disco LITE or a full disco if it's big, and you're on top of it. You pick up the SEO words, you pick up the interest immediately, and you can ride the newsjacking. And here's the format comparison table. And I'm not going to go through that. I already did. You can take a look at it. Disco Mosaic. You wouldn't be interested in that. Okay, stack integrations. Here's my stack. For scripting, I'm using ChatGPT and Claude. Now, I use primarily ChatGPT because that's where I started and that's where my prime memories are. And that's the one thing about ChatGPT is it allows you that 100 whatever gigs or something of memory. And so it's easier to build stacks and workflows because it remembers them and knows how to piece them together and can monitor them or help you monitor them with tools like TubeBuddy. And then for voice and avatar production, 11 Labs is just a must-have. You're going to pay that money. And understand, I'm not going to BS you. If you're trying to go with free, you ain't going to have no money and you ain't going to have no business. I'm just being honest. So if you really want to do this seriously, understand you're going to have to spit out some coin. Now, that depends on how big you want to go, how fast you want to go, how dedicated you're going to go. I've wasted a lot of money on stuff I got and never used. Using some stuff right now that I've never used before and been paying for it. So I'm trying to make those mistakes so you guys don't have to. So help a brother out, subscribe, comment, and eventually join the community. We're going to be doing some serious stuff. Or you can get left out there. I mean, what does it have to take for you to understand what is happening when the head of Fiverr, the master of gigs himself, says that Gen X is going to be hit harder than anybody because of all the jobs that are going to be lost, and I'll talk about that later. Come on now. Get into some community, if not mine, hopefully mine, and start learning this stuff. All right, getting back to my stat. I use CapCut. You know, I really want to use, I could do so much more with Premiere. I could do so much more with Sony, but I'm not trying to go back to school to learn Sony. I'm trying to do what's necessary to build my business now. So the easiest way to do that is CapCut. Don't waste your time learning all the other stuff. Just get in CapCut. It's so easy, comparatively. Music, I use Suno AI. You see here, gospel, boom bap. I have a gospel channel and I like to use boom bap because it's, you know, I love boom bap. But I can use or put in the prompt for it to produce a disco that is any. I can make it polka, and not only will it give me the lyrics, it will give me the prompt that I will use in Suno. So if you listen very carefully, most of the videos I've put out have been music I've produced, and the lyrics, you got to listen to the lyrics. They're not random. All right, deployment. I'm using ConvertKit and Hostinger. You need to be aware of this problem. If you are using Hostinger, and you are going to be using your website, that's a lot of work. So what I did is I hooked Hostinger to ConvertKit, but the problem is I had to bring in something else. All of this stuff doesn't necessarily talk to each other. If they have business deals with each other, they work, which kind of forces you down a path that you don't want to do. If I don't want to use Make, if I don't want to use something else that's hooked to ConvertKit or isn't hooked to ConvertKit, now I got a problem. So if you really want to do it your way, you're going to have to get more, shall we say, things in the stack. What you don't see in here is something called, what is it called? Tally. I'm using Tally to host some of my stuff. And it is the bridge between ConvertKit and Hostinger. All right, automation, I'm using Airtable. I am having such a difficult time getting N8N and Airtable to talk to each other and to talk to everyone else. And I have brought in Google. Here's my recommendation. I'm not going to do Google. I have had it. I do Google Gemini. I use it every day along with ChatGPT. But as far as my database and Drive, you know, I love it, but I'm having such a difficult time connecting Google to anything. It's driving me crazy. So I'm leaving Google for Base. And so you'll see that later in the week. I'll be going N8N, Airtable, and Base. All right, community school and first 100 are free. We want to build the community. Remember, as one of the first 100, you're helping build the community, guide the community, and I'm more likely to listen to you when you say, hey man, I need a course on this, or we need a course on that. So get in now. I mean, I'm going to build this thing big, just on passion alone if I have to, but it's going to keep getting better and better, and I want you guys to join in because you'll be able to take advantage of this. If you were to automate this, think about what you could do for your existing or future business. Oh, for questions or deployment support, contact the Hand of the King. Yeah, sometimes it talks to me as though we are in Game of Thrones. It's a lot of fun. Okay, here's the launch rhythm. What happens is Disco, full format release, that's the 5-part, goes out on Monday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have Disco LITE, and perhaps a hip hop will drop, which will be a full with a lead magnet midweek. Then Friday, Disco Pod, and push the community, get people involved. Saturday, we're going to go live and we'll repost shorts, and then we'll go out into TubeBuddy and post repoint the end screen of all of our shorts towards the latest long form. We're trying that. It's suggested. And then Sunday, I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to prep. I'm going to reflection. And it's Sunday today. I'm supposed to be doing that, but I'm not doing that because I spent a week of anguish, speaking English, a week of a week of anguish dealing with the N8N Airtable debacle. And we'll talk about that later as well. The issue I'm running into now, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to run into it as well, is there's a fun part of this, which is the creativity. And you find new ways to be creative, especially with AI and all it can do. The hard part is the behind the scenes. That's not fun. Setting all this stuff up is not fun. One of the things that plagues me, and it'll probably plague you, is organization. Making sure all this stuff gets... Stop looking at that. That's disco newsjacking. You wouldn't be interested in that. I just think it's disco mosaic. I told you about newsjacking. You wouldn't be interested in the mosaic project. That's too much. You don't need that many followers. Okay. Where was I? I was saying that the problem is you end up spending so much time going down the rabbit hole thinking you just need one more app or one more thing or one more integration. And it turns out it's none of these are talking to each other. There are so many companies being created and they haven't made the backroom deals, and we're still going to go through that fallout where they're all going to buy each other out. And then you will have the new Adobes emerge. In fact, Adobe might be one of the ones that reemerges. So all of that fallout is happening, but right now all these tools are divided and there's really cool stuff out there. I mean, wow. I mean, the one I'm doing right now, which is, let me see. What am I doing today? Yes. Today we are adding to the stack. Is it in here? Wow, I got to update the stack. We are adding, let me go find it. It's typeset. We are adding typeset to the stack simply because the ebooks that I have coming out in the next few weeks and reports and other things look ugly. And as much as I try to get ChatGPT to give me good looking stuff, even asking it to do it in HTML, it just simply isn't doing. Now, I'm not sponsored by them. Maybe I will be. We'll see. I'm trying it out for the first time today. And maybe I'll go ahead and try it out and film it. Well, heck, let's do it right now. I have never used this before. And I am creating a guide. Now, we're going to do it later with the guide because I established a guide. So I'm going to follow my own guide. So in transparency, you guys can see that I go through the anguish as well. So anyway, this is Keith. I hope this was helpful. You know, I'm up to 20 subscribers. I'm really thrilled. Thank you. Subscribers, reach out. I'm still waiting for someone to reach out in email. If you've subscribed, I've still got those 2 Manuses that are ready to go out, 2 Manus passcodes. Come on, reach out to me, DM me so I can give them to you. I've got 2. And the community's being built. Come and help me build it. First 100. We don't have, we've got 21 people. That's the other reason I need your email, so I can put you on the list so you get free access to the community as I am building it. So please DM, reach out. You can find me all over the place and let me know, so I can put you on the list and you can enter the community and start taking advantage of some of the stuff I'm going to start putting behind the paywall. I really, really want to help everyone in the Gen X community. But to do that, we need help. And I don't want to straight up ask for donations. This isn't about donations. This is about you helping a brother help you. I want to build this community, and it benefits me because as I learn, you learn, we encourage each other. We find out what we need. We pool our resources, and I don't mean money. I mean resources like if you're a plumber and you understand what plumbers need, you can come together with me, the communication guy, and we can build an app that teaches people how to do their own plumbing or how to choose a plumber. Instead of looking for the next thing, instead of following the next niche, pick the wisdom you have. Use that wisdom as the backbone of your AI business and sell your wisdom. That is what Simple Agentics is about. So I'm only charging $49. I'm not trying to rip you off. I'm not trying to make a fortune. I'm trying to get us together and make it low enough barrier to entry so anyone can get in. And I'm going to keep it there because I want a community of Gen X people. Remember, we used to hang out. We used to have fun together. We used to work together. Now we've been torn apart. We're on different sides of political spectrums. We're on different sides of thought process. Hey, one thing is for certain. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And getting into AI with a bunch of like-minded people who understand not just where you are coming from, but understand where you have been, that makes sense, so it will make dollars. The question is, are you ready? If you're gonna harp over $49.95 a month when you know you're spending more than that on Netflix that is not helping your brain maintain sanity, if you are spending that in coffee that's hyping up your body but still giving it no place to go that's productive, I'm asking you to take a chance. $49, what is that now? 2 dozen eggs? Take a chance, come in here, help me build this community, and let's start figuring this out together. If 2 heads are better than 1, if 2 can set them aflight, what the heck can a full community of Gen X guys committed to rocking AI, what can we do? And the first 100 are free? How much big of an organization, how much big of an incentive do you need? Come on in here. If you don't believe I'm serious, go back and look at my first video and you can see it's been 4 or 5 months, and I will push no matter what it takes. And yo, it ain't easy. Yeah, I'm semi-retired, but I poured all my savings and everything into building this. Not for me, for us. Because I believe that we are at a point. We are at the nexus point. We are in a position where we can take our experience, those dues we paid over the last 20 or 30 years, and make money. What people don't seem to understand is the coin of the realm is not the technology. The coin of the realm is the data. And when you hear me say that, what you're thinking is, oh, you know, that stuff that they collect, telephone numbers and addresses. No, 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 no. Data that allows you to focus in on how people think, when they think it, where they think it. All of these different, what do they call them? Echo chambers. There's a map to where they are. Here's the cave of this party. Here's the cave of that party. And all of these caves have an access point where you can go in and find out what that cave needs and then use AI to go right into that cave and deliver what they need. AI is a tool. But here's the thing. If you keep using the tool, you know, what did I see the other day? I was watching some show where somebody was using their gun as a back scratcher. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, my back itches. And it's like, that's not what that's for. Will a gun work as a back scratcher? Absolutely. And it might permanently scratch your back. But here's the thing. That's not what the tool is for. Yes, AI makes really cool pictures and ooh, it can do all of these things and organize my schedule. No, AI allows you to multiply yourself. The idea back when we used to do all the get rich quick and all that kind of stuff, the idea was always preached that if you could duplicate yourself, what could you achieve? So if you're not using AI to duplicate yourself, that means that you ain't anyone ready to produce work. Yeah, I know you want it fast. I know you want to click, clock, stick, stop, get it really fast. It doesn't work that way. I've tried it. Everybody's tried it. Until you are willing to slow down and put in some of that old stick-to-itiveness that we were taught ever since the days of Andy Griffith, for those of us that are at the top of the Gen X stack, all the way down to Belle Biv DeVoe. You know who you are, you young millennials. But here's the deal. You gotta put in the work. Stop hiding from the work. You've done this before. You wouldn't be where you are now if you didn't know how to put in the work, at least for a little while. I heard someone say something that was really interesting the other day. They said, who was? I don't know who it was, but they said that the biggest problem that people have when it comes to college and university is they don't realize what it's for. College and university couldn't possibly educate you in anything beyond the foundation of anything that you are studying because of the rapidness of technology and the availability of information means that things are being updated every moment. So how can you go spend 4 years in a vacuum? This isn't Dragon Ball. You don't get to go to some place where time stands still while you learn. That being the case, you know that you're going to have to put in some time, so you need to maximize that time. And the way you maximize that time is you get together in communities. I was a professor for 25 years, and students would come to me and they would say, "Hey, professor, what is the fastest and easiest way to get through college classes?" And I'd be honest with them. I'd say, here's what you need to do. In every class, you need to walk in and you need to pick the 4 other or 3 other smartest people in the room. Because if you're doing this, you're probably the smartest. But pick the 3 smartest people, walk up to them and say, "Hey, look, we're the 4 or 5 smartest people in the room. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to divide up the book, chapters, into 5 or 4 parts. I'm going to take a part, you're going to take a part. We're going to make the best ever notes and presentations we could possibly make on just our small chapters." That is the price of being able to utilize this technique. Right before the midterm or the final, come together, share each other's notes, present to each other, quiz each other, teach each other. Now you have cut the time you would have put into that study assignment or whatever into, by a fifth, down to a quarter or a fifth. That is what academia is trying to teach you, but you fight it. You fight the very thing that will make your life easier, something that seems to be very popular these days in society. Here's the fact, and you cannot fight it no matter how much your cognitive dissonance. AI is coming for your job. The only thing you can do to survive is to capitalize on what makes you unique. What makes you unique is the last 30, 40, or 50, 60 years of your life. In there is wisdom. In there are all of those ideas that woulda, coulda, shoulda made you a millionaire. All of that is there waiting for you to exploit. You see, all of your memories and wisdom constitutes data. AI is trained on data. So before someone trains AI on your data, stealing your soul. That's a joke. Don't go crazy. You need to take your data, put it in a rag, and if you don't know what that is, you'll find out later, or get a bigger setup so that you can sell it or capitalize on it. Do you understand that your view of the world, if you have one, can now be codified and blasted out all over the planet? You can preach your gospel if you're willing to learn how, but you can't be lazy. I had another friend who told me that it doesn't matter how good the idea is if you go out and talk about it. Most people will try to steal it. Maybe 1 out of 10 will actually do something with it. And less than that will be successful. And I believe him. I think the problem is that people get so caught up in the adrenaline of a new idea. I know, I've done it. And that is what YouTube runs on, the idea that, I can do it, it's easy, no time. And that adrenaline kicks in. And it's that concept that you see in a lot of business stuff, a lot of self-help stuff. It's functioning on the adrenaline. And when it comes to the hard work, you get halfway through and you quit. I know, I'm there. But I'm not going to quit simply because I see what's coming and I don't want to miss this. I mean, I could have bought Microsoft. I could have bought Home Depot. I could have done so much, but I got halfway there and quit. I didn't have the faith. Well, what I didn't have back then is a community of people who believe that they can be successful, and they encourage each other in their ideas. They help each other flesh out their ideas. They help each other produce. That's the way we were brought up, Gen X. Why y'all out here trying to act like Gen Z? You're not. You're not millennials. You don't understand their world. They might be your little brother or sister. They might be your child, but you don't understand their world. You understand your world, the unique Gen X world. We know because we saw transitions. Yeah, they had COVID, but we had COVID. We had 9/11. We had the real estate crisis. We had .com boom. We had all of that. And we survived. And we have those wisdom and skills. We know how to hustle. Hell, we invented hustle. And now, you gonna drop your hustle? Because you afraid of AI? Because you refuse to face the monster? Because you don't want to look up? Because AI is the wrong political party? Seriously? Bruh. We are Gen X. We are better than this. What would Run DMC say? Come on. Controversy? Yes, I am Generation X. All right, this is it for today. I've got to go do a bunch of editing. Editing, the bane of content creator existence. Okay, I've got to go do editing, so I will be back. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. Tell me if you like them. I'm sorry my picture isn't up. But when I get rolling, I'm not about to go put on a suit and tie and get in front of the camera. It's more important I get the stuff out to you. Okay, if you want more stuff like this, you want to see what I'm actually doing, if this helped you, the Disco Visual Campaign Playbook, let me know and I'll keep doing it. If I don't hear anything, I mean, I'm like any other computer, data. I run on data, and if I have no data, good or bad, I can't make improvement. All right, please subscribe, comment, like, and join the community. This is Keith from Simple Agentics. I'm out.